Welcome to the Dialed In Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we're going to start our three-part series on cannabis. We're going to talk about why I think it should be federally legal. But today specifically, we're going to just cover the basics of what cannabis even is for people that don't know, and how it produces THC and CBD and what exactly THC and CBD are. So, for starters, cannabis or marijuana is a psychoactive plant which is native to Central and South Asia. As of right now, there are a total of 37 states, I believe, that are either made cannabis legal or recreational. And recreational means that you are allowed to smoke in like certain areas as long as you have like a medical card. And with legal is you can smoke wherever you want, no matter what. So marijuana or cannabis itself it does come from a plant. The plant is just like any other plant. It starts from a seed with water and sun. It sprouts, it grows, but it produces these buds, and those buds are what you grind up or roll up and smoke. The interesting thing is that marijuana is just kind of like us. It has genes, it has genetics. There's different strains, there's different tastes, even from male to female. And female plants are actually the only ones who do produce the bud. So if there's a grower or you ever go to a grow house, you will see all these plants and they will all be female. Male plants, they produce these pollen glands that help the female produce the certain type of buds or the certain strain that it's growing. So the thing is, it's just like any other plant. It can get termites. It can, things can happen to it. So it needs a certain amount of sunlight. That's why you have grow houses indoor, outdoor. It's a whole study. There's a whole bunch to it. But to dive really, quick into what THC and CBD is, this will probably be the shortest episode of this series. I'm kind of just going into the basics. The second episode will be basically about, sativa, hybrids, indicas, and the different forms of marijuana. Wax, how you ingest it, how it hits you, certain times like that. And then the third episode will be my official viewpoint, some people that I've talked to, their viewpoints, and that, like I said before, how I think it can, scientifically benefit us, and, just dive into a little bit more on that. So, with saying that, all cannabis plants produce THC and CBD, but they are completely different things and have completely different effects. THC is one of the compounds found in the resin from the glands on the plant. So THC stimulates cells in the brain to release dopamine, creating euphoria. It can enhance a person's memory, pleasure, movements, to thinking, coordination, and even sensory and time perception. So, it's all really big mentally when it comes to THC. You will feel something. You'll feel, a little maybe woozy. Some people tend to feel woozy. Some people get really happy. Some people can't stop smiling. But right next to that is the plant itself, and that is the CBD. So CBD comes from the hemp plant directly itself. It does not have the psychoactive compound. So you do not feel that mental high. You won't feel woozy or anything, but it does interact with the brain. And when it interacts with the brain, it basically connects with receptors that help relax muscles or tension in your body. So, you'll feel really relaxed. You can still go about your day, but you won't feel that pinch in a nerve, or, you'll be a little happier, but you'll still be able to focus. Versus THC, sometimes for people, it's really hard to focus, or they'll focus too much. They'll be so clicked into something. So like if you're taking too much THC, you can always go and take CBD. They have, different forms. Like I said, in the next episode, we'll get into thousands of different forms that you can do. But with CBD, it'll level you out because it isn't that mental high. And they all come from the same plant, so it works. So even if you take too much CBD and you get sick off of too much CBD, take a little THC and you'll level back out. So, just always know your levels, no matter what. It's really with anything. I mean, from eating food to alcohol to new drinks, you just got to know yourself. Too much of anything is bad for you. So like I said, this is going to be one of the quicker episodes for this thing. I just kind of wanted to go into like the basics of what marijuana is itself. A lot of people aren't really aware of what CBD or THC it is. Some people think CBD gets you high when it doesn't. So, just do more research. I've done research myself. There's thousands and thousands of just websites and things out there that you can learn from. But I just kind of want to give you guys the basics of, what it is, how it can affect you, and stuff like that. So next week we'll talk about the negative and positive effects of cannabis, plus the differences between strains and forms. And then part 3 will be just my viewpoint, what I think about it, what other people think about it, and how I think, a scientific study and having it be legal would really benefit weed smokers today. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with a quote today. Today's quote is actually from a new page. It's at Wealthy Motivated. You can follow them on Instagram. I follow thousands of pages. Same thing with 365 Mentality. They're on here a lot. But today's quote is, never get too attached to people because they wake up with different intentions every day. And that's a really real quote, because people do wake up with different intentions. Someday they could be your best friend, and the next day they're your biggest enemy. Or you're going into business with somebody, they say it's a great idea, and then the next day they wake up and they change their mind and they back out. So always stay loyal to yourself, always stay loyal to your ideas, and always stay motivated, no matter who gets in your way, no matter who shuts you down. Just always do you. That's the best thing you can do. That's the best way to stay happy. So with that being said, I just put up our YouTube page, so you guys can find us at the Dialed In Podcast on YouTube. And obviously you guys can find us here on Spotify or Apple Podcast, wherever you're listening. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. I took those 2 weeks off on vacation, but we're back. Weekly episodes every Friday. We just started this series, so part 2 will be next week, and part 3 will be the following week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in. And this is the Dialed In Podcast.